Noticed how expensive eggs have become lately? I did too, which led me to find 10 protein sources that are actually cheaper and even more nutritious. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what those budget-friendly options are, making it easy and affordable for you to reach your protein goals without overspending. This first food will have you saving so much money, it'll quickly become a protein staple in your household. Not only is it a great source of protein, it's a huge source of fiber, which is why it's been shown to promote gut health, improve blood glucose levels, as well as prevent some types of cancer. So it's no wonder this has been a dietary cornerstone in many cultures around the world. Another huge advantage of this food is that you can find it in just about any grocery store. You can get 24 grams of protein for every dollar you spend on it, which means it'll cut your protein bill by 50% compared to eggs. And of course, I'm talking about the mighty bean. You can make tons of savory breakfasts with them, like rice and beans, or have them as a side of refried beans, or include them as part of a breakfast burrito with another protein source that's coming up later on this list. And they're so easy to include, I made this burrito in just 10 minutes. And the price I quoted was for canned beans. If you cook them from dried, which an Instant Pot makes extremely easy, you save even more. But if you absolutely hate beans, this next food is still a great way to get your daily protein in. This next food is also essential for anyone trying to get in more protein with less money. It's not only high in protein, it's also a great source of magnesium and potassium, so you'll be getting a ton of key nutrients in. It's even been linked to living longer. Researchers found an 8% reduction in risk of premature death for every 20 grams increase in daily intake of it. You'll get 24 grams of protein for every dollar spent on it, meaning you'll get twice as much protein per dollar compared to eggs. The underrated protein beast I'm talking about is the chickpea, or garbanzo bean. Fun fact, the word for chickpea in Arabic is hummus, which is crazy because that's my favorite way to eat them. But of course, you can also put these straight from the can onto a salad or mash them with some spices for a sandwich filling. Any way you choose to add them to your diet, you'll have an easy way to get protein for pennies. Now, if you're someone who doesn't like eating hummus 24/7, you can just click off. No, but actually, another way to add a whole nother set of textures, recipes, and flavors with chickpeas while still getting the benefits is by using chickpea flour. It's 18 grams of protein for every dollar spent, making it 33% less expensive than eggs, and you can use it to make sweet and savory recipes like vegan omelets, chickpea pancakes, or flatbreads. You can even use it in baking recipes. Just make sure you don't eat it raw. I promise once you cook it, it tastes different. So chickpea flour isn't as common as regular flour, but it's starting to appear in more and more grocery stores. And with your help, we can have it replace the other bottom tier flours like almond flour and coconut flour. Now, if warm curries, hearty stews, and protein bowls sound like dinners you'd enjoy having, this next protein source is for you. It's high in fiber, helps with digestion, lowers blood pressure, and reduces your risk of chronic diseases such as diabetes and obesity, to name a few. And you'll get 61 grams of plant protein for every dollar you spend on it. That's 80% less expensive than eggs. Or in other words, you're getting 5 times as much protein for every dollar spent. Not only that, one study found that swapping just 3% of calorie intake from animal protein to plant protein, like what you're gonna get in this food, led to a 10% decrease in death from any cause. So you'll be saving money on grocery and medical bills. This food is lentils. These are the easiest of the legumes to eat from dried because you don't need to soak them, so you can cook them straight from the bag. And that's why you can get so much protein while spending so little. Some varieties of lentils, like red lentils, cook even faster. You can use them to make lentil soups and even use them to replace minced meat in shepherd's pie or pasta bolognese, for example. One of my favorite lentil dishes is mujadara, a traditional Arab dish that mixes lentils with any whole grain that you top with caramelized onions. It's an easy, cheap, and filling dish. And there's one hack that gives you even more variety when it comes to eating lentils, and that is lentil pasta. You'll be getting 16 grams of protein per dollar, which will cost you 25% less than eggs, while still getting all of the life-extending benefits of lentils and none of the cholesterol of eggs. Now, I'm seeing it more and more in grocery stores, and you can find it in all sorts of varieties. Rotini, spaghetti, I've even found these crazy O-shaped ones. And I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it tastes the same as whole wheat, because it doesn't, but it's still a tasty option you should be adding to your grocery hauls. Plus, I found it cooks way quicker than whole wheat pasta. However, if you're looking for a food that can scratch that egg itch, this next food might surprise you. All right, so this next food has probably the worst reputation of any food I've ever seen. So many people tell me they don't like this food without ever trying it. But the truth is, it's one of the best protein sources out there, and it can even completely replace eggs in some recipes. It's also high in calcium, it builds muscle, protects your heart, and lowers cancer risk. It also has 14.2 grams of protein per dollar, making it 15% cheaper than eggs. And as some of you may have suspected, the food I'm talking about is tofu. So I used to be someone who wouldn't touch tofu, but after giving it a chance and learning more about it, like that it wasn't gonna give me boobs or kill me from an estrogen overload, it became one of my favorite ways to get protein. Because I'll be the first one to say it, most of the time, plain tofu is tasteless. but tofu is like ditto. It transforms into whatever flavor or texture you give it. So one of the easiest ways to include tofu in your diet is to scramble it. Take tofu, crumble it up, add a mix of spices, even just salt, pepper, and garlic will do, and serve it in the exact same way you'd serve scrambled eggs. If you add black salt, otherwise known as kala namak, you can even give it that eggy flavor and throw it into that breakfast burrito from earlier for more cheap, high quality protein. But if you're just looking for a quick snack that packs protein, you're gonna like this next option. This next food is a great way to boost the protein content of any dish, savory or sweet, in an instant. It can also help fight cancer and inflammation and support thyroid health, and could even help prevent muscle cramps. And it's crazy bang for your buck. 36 grams of protein for every dollar spent on this, making it 66% less expensive than eggs. This source of protein is sunflower seeds. Although these small but mighty seeds are mostly a source of healthy fats, they're also a cheap source of protein that you can top an oatmeal bowl with, use to add a crunch to any salad. They can even be used for a pesto sauce for a pasta, or just grab a handful as a snack. However, no food on this list so far combines price, protein, and another key nutrient as well as this next one. Next on the list should be a staple in anyone's diet who's looking to have good digestion, good heart health, and not wither away. Okay, that's all of us, right? This next food comes in at 21 grams of protein per dollar, making it 43% less expensive than eggs, and it's my sponge's greatest enemy, chia seeds. These are extremely high in fiber, omega-3, and also have a decent amount of protein, so a trifecta of essential nutrients. I think the easiest way to have these in your breakfast is to just blend them into a smoothie or include them in your oatmeal. Or you can even make a chia pudding for another budget-friendly way to get these in. But these aren't really great to eat on their own, so here's another great snack option. Next up, this food is packed with calcium, monosaturated fat, and protein. And it's also the reason California is burning up. Just kidding, that's meat and dairy. But you guessed it, it's everyone's favorite gaslit nut, the almond. You'll get almost 16 grams of protein for every dollar spent with these, which makes it 22% less expensive than eggs. Have them as a snack, or like sunflower seeds, top different bowls and salads with them to add more texture. Or you can put them in a date and eat them that way. It's my own candy bar. Yum. Yum. Unfortunately, in recent years, the almond has stolen the spotlight from what used to be everyone's favorite nut, who deserves just as much love, and that brings me to the next food. All right, George Washington Carver. Who remembers learning about him? Or maybe it was just a US thing? Anyways, this next food is also a source of healthy fats, fiber, and $1 of it gets you 57 grams of protein, making it nearly 80% less expensive than eggs. So again, that's almost 5 times as much protein for every dollar spent. Of course, I'm talking about the forgotten peanut. Grab a handful of these, smash them and add them to pastas to add a crunch, and of course, peanut butter. Straight spoonfuls from the jar. Gross. Of course, if you do get peanut butter, remember the most health-promoting ones will be the ones with just peanuts and maybe some salt. But no matter how much you like peanuts, they don't serve as a great base for a meal. So that's where this next protein source comes in. This next food is also associated with lower risk of heart disease, and it's great for trying to lose weight and control hunger levels due to its high water and soluble fiber content. It comes in at 38 grams of protein per dollar, making it almost 70% cheaper than eggs. The food I'm talking about is oats. One hack to boost the protein of your oats even more is to cook them in a high protein milk, like pea milk or soy milk. But if you want them to be even easier to consume, the night before, you can put your oats in a jar with all the ingredients you'd normally use, leave it in the fridge overnight, and the next day, you've got a cheap and easy breakfast ready to go. While most people don't realize just how dirt cheap oats are, most people know they have protein, unlike this next food, which might be the most controversial food on this list. All right, so y'all are gonna see this food I'm gonna recommend and think, no fucking way, that sounds way too good to be true. Because yeah, most people don't realize this food is a cheap source of protein and also has a ton of other nutrients like fiber. Plus, it's been shown to improve gut health, protect your heart, and may reduce cancer risk. Comes in at 39 grams of protein per dollar, also making it 70% cheaper than eggs. And it goes great with marinara sauce. It's whole wheat pasta. Yes, y'all, it's true. But the key here is you stick to whole grain, not multigrain. Make sure it's just one ingredient on that bad boy. Including whole wheat pasta into your diet is fairly intuitive. You could use it anytime you'd use regular pasta, and I found myself enjoying the texture of whole wheat pasta even more. If you want the most benefits, like a good raw vegan, just eat it straight out of the box. If your gums start bleeding, that's actually good. You get more iron. You're recycling the iron. I'm kidding, please don't do that. But yeah, you've got loads of different varieties of whole wheat pasta, and you don't run the risk of it spoiling and having to throw it out like other more expensive protein options like beef and chicken. But are there any drawbacks to these cheap proteins? Like, would you be able to build an impressive physique only using these sources? I spoke to a vegan bodybuilder who explains how he uses these cheap protein sources to build his huge muscles. Check it out here.